Last month's deadly lake effect blast devastated many communities in western New York, including West Seneca. You can see residents trying to dig out from the mounds of snow. The hardest hit areas are crunching the numbers now, hoping to qualify for help from FEMA. News 4's George Rickard joins us now with the latest numbers. George?
Well, the preliminary numbers seem to be rising high enough for FEMA to get involved. The question is how much of this storm FEMA will actually pay for.
We know we're going to pay for some of this. The question is, do we pay for all of it, or will we get a portion reimbursed by FEMA later?
Erie County spent at least $7 million on the November storm. The city of Buffalo, at least $5 million. That, combined with some towns and school districts that have already checked in with damage, brings the total closer to the $28 million threshold that FEMA needs to see before even considering whether to reimburse municipalities for the costs. That $23 million so far still doesn't include what New York State spent, or towns like Hamburg, which spent $2 million, including school repairs and private contractors.
The high lifts, the dump trucks, the specialized equipment to move some of this 8 feet of snow that our plows just simply could not move on their own.
Cheektowaga storm cost tops $2 million. So does Lackawanna's. And the bill in West Seneca is approaching $4 million.
You have all those costs. You have curbing that was damaged that we haven't even got to look at, $100 a foot. There's damaged curbs all over town. The trees, we haven't even taken to an account for all the trees that were damaged.
Even if we get to the level, there's no guarantee that we're going to get 100% reimbursed. First, there has to be a declaration of a disaster by the president based on a request from the governor. And then there's a long process that FEMA goes through just to identify whether the costs were reimbursable or not.
It may be a couple months before we know how much FEMA will reimburse municipalities, if at all.
It's going to be tough for not just us, but for all the communities across Erie County to have to absorb that type of cost, especially this late in the budget season when there's no time to try to readjust.
And Don, of all of those costs, road salt was actually a very small expense line because the snow fell so fast and so hard.
They didn't have to use it.
They couldn't get down to pavement for a couple of days.
You know, many people are wondering, will this have an impact on property taxes?
It probably won't for at least a year because the tax rates are set for 2015. But what a lot of these towns will do will dip into their savings to get over this. And then in rebuilding their fund balances, there may be a tax hike in 2016 if FEMA does not come through.
But if Uncle Sam comes through, whew,
Yep.
dodged a bullet.
Exactly.
Thank you, George.
Yep.